one of the most experienced teams in the nation. The St. Bonaventure University Bonnies returned 5 senior starters for their 2021-2022 campaign. The campus abundant with excitement. Preseason favorites in the Atlantic 10, the team's first AP Top 25 appearance in 50 years. And early on, the expected success manifested itself. The Charleston Classic saw the Bonnies win 3 games in 4 days against power conference competition. But then adversity hit. Kyle Lofton hurt his ankle and the team hurt without him. Even after his return, an extended losing streak left the Bonnies at their lowest point. But fans don't call them the Ironman 5 2.0 for nothing. Back-to-back wins against St. Louis, a 7-game win streak, and a victory on senior night, likely the seniors' final dance in the Riley Center. Overcoming adversity, the seniors look toward a different dance, the big one. But in the face of adversity, sometimes the only difference is that of 2 points. Those 2 points, however, wouldn't knock the Bonnies out. They still had a chance to win, and win they did. Fans arrived in droves to Madison Square Garden in New York City to watch a team with a chance to cement its legacy. The team willed their way across thousands of miles in the National Invitation Tournament semifinal, and just like that, the feverish excitement of Bonnies fans returned. Regardless of the many decisions facing the team this offseason, tonight we examine the final moments of this season in a way you won't hear anywhere else. We take a look at the future of the team this offseason and remember some moments of our first successful season of BBN. This is Bonnies Basketball Now. Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Bonnies Basketball Now, our last of the season. I'm here as always with the vet himself, JP Butler of the Olean Times-Herald, and SBU-TV sports reporter Leah Lockwood. Got a lot to get into today. Let's get right into it though, starting with Bonnies versus Xavier in the NIT semifinals in the mecca of basketball at Madison Square Garden. Things opened up good for St. Bonaventure. We saw Jalen Attaway show his Flight 33 mantra with this jam, and then a little bit later, 10:57 to go, Dom pump fakes I think 3 or 4 times, spins around, knocks down a 3. He's been doing that the entire NIT tournament. Bonnies do give up to a 19-point lead though after a 14-0 Xavier run, and then the Bonnies did end up cutting it to 15 though at the half, JP.
Yeah, and we talk about just the experience in general. Bonnie had a great run in this NIT. It was an amazing experience for all of us being there in person as well. The only thing that was missing was the finish in this one. And certainly the biggest thing going against them was just falling into that 19-point hole. Against a really good team like Xavier, it proved to be just a little too much.
Getting right into the second half, 14:27 to go. Attaway kept on flying with this alley-oop from Kyle Lofton. That cut the deficit down to 9, where it kind of stayed majority of the beginning of the second half. 13:57 to go. The very next possession, Adam Kunkel drills a 3 to push the lead back up to 12. It seemed like every time the Bonnies put together a run, Xavier had an answer. 5:40 to go, following a Holmes layup to cut it to 8. This Dom Welch 3 brings the Bonnies within 5 with just that 5:40 to go, but that's as close as St. Bonaventure would get as Kunkel continued his hot shooting, nailing another 3, and the Bonnies end up falling in this one 84-77 in the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden. So Leah, obviously St. Bonaventure, they wanted something more out of this tournament, but to get to that point in the tournament was definitely a high note.
For sure, they definitely showed a lot of resilience. I mean, the whole season, but especially through the NIT being those Power 5 teams, and then to be down, 15 at halftime, and then to come back, push it to within 5. The energy is crazy in there. It's electric. Fans are loud everywhere.
And if that is the way the season ends for the career ends, for the Ironman 5 2.0, Kyle Lofton follows out towards the end of the game, gets a standing ovation as he leaves the court. If this is his final game as a St. Bonaventure Bonnie, what do you think he left as his legacy?
I mean, he's going to go down as one of the all-time great guards, in program history. And, I think that was a telling moment. He comes out, and at that point, you knew Bono was going to lose the game, and still it was nothing but love from these fans. Anything that had happened before this year, there was a little bit of negativity, surrounding the team, and it kind of looked like they weren't going to be an NCAA team. But all of that is put aside, and in that moment, it was just time to celebrate not just Kyle, but all 5 of these guys. We weren't sure of what they were going to do, but if this was going to be it, I know Bonner fans, and then just the outpouring on social media after the game, wanted them to know that, hey, they are loved for what this group has been able to do over the last 4 years.
And I do think that just goes to show the whole Bonaventure spirit here, they're going to lose, but you still just have to go and give them recognition for what they've done this season and throughout their whole experience here at Bonaventure.
Another one of those Fab 5 2.0 type players. Jaron Holmes, he had a great NIT tournament after maybe struggling at certain points throughout the regular season in the A10 tournament. He ends up in NIT going 4 of 9, 13 points, 8 of 12, 23, had 15 in that NIT semifinal game. Did end up finishing the season low, though, shooting below 40% from the floor, 27% about from three-point land. What do you think it took? Jaron Holmes, obviously, after the Virginia game, he mentioned, fans on their social media maybe doubting him a little bit, but I think he proved them wrong in the NIT tournament.
He did. He was the reason, I think, honestly, that they got as far as they did, because the other guys kind of played how they were throughout the course of the year. Jaron was one who really sort of elevated his game at the right time when they needed it most. He had the 4 for 4 from 3 effort against Oklahoma to get them to that Virginia game. And so I don't think they would have even been playing at Madison Square Garden without him, without all 5 of these guys really becoming the team that we knew they could be all along. And even in that second half against Xavier, I thought he was really kind of the spark to that run that got them back. I know Dom's 3 to cut it to 5 was really the shot, and then in the crowd at that point, I said, this is insane. They're gonna come back and win this game. They didn't. But Jaron kind of sparked that with he had back-to-back steals that I think he finished one and maybe Kyle finished the other, that really kind of got it turned around to the point where you think, okay, maybe, just maybe, this could happen.
Yeah, speaking on that Dom Welch 3, Dom ends up finishing the game 7 of 10 from deep, tying the most he's hit all season. Obviously, has Bonnie's postseason record as well. What do you make of Dom Welch's season, Leah? How he was able to, have these hot shooting games, especially when Bonaventure went on that mid-season run or late-season run when they won a bunch of games. It was really Dom Welch starting to play well.
At the beginning of the season, I thought maybe he was starting off a little bit slow, but he really got there in the string of things. He got up to par to where he needed to be to help elevate his whole team's level of play, I think, and it really helped them excel this season. And maybe not at certain points, like in the A10, they fell a little bit short. But you see, in the NIT, him elevating all of his teammates' level of play, and they really needed that, especially when guys like Jaron or Kyle maybe weren't scoring the ball as much. He had to step up and do that for them. But even though you don't have to score to make an impact, he definitely helped them do that.
And before the show, we were kind of talking about it felt like a home game at Madison Square Garden. Our own Louis Genovese made the trip down there. I think it ended up being right around that 13 buses that ended up making the trip down to Madison Square Garden. But JP, as we all know now, not all of them made it there.
No, and boy, that was one of the most astonishing graphics I've ever seen on a national broadcast. I'm sure we've all seen it by now, where they literally provided the stats on what happened to all those buses. We've talked about it. It's so unfortunate. It seems like any time there's a bus involved for a big Bonnie game, something happens. This could probably be a JP Storytime kind of thing. But in 2012, when they played in the A10 tournament championship against Xavier, they brought buses out to Atlantic City. Some of them didn't make it. A guy I work with now actually was on a bus that had to stop halfway and watch the game at a Binghamton Applebee's. So it's unfortunate that that was the case, but it was nice that I guess others found a way to ultimately still get there.
Do you think maybe Xavier has something to do with this? Or at
Yeah,
least
you were on the bus on the trip
them?
there, Leah. What was that experience like?
Oh,
You're obviously
gosh.
on one of the buses that did get there. We saw you down there, but how was that?
So actually my bus, it got there, but did get pulled over. So for the first hour and a half of the trip, there was a bus in front of us that kept on having to pull over. It was smoking. It was really bad, and our bus driver was trying to help them fix it. All the other buses kept going. We did not know if we were going to make it, so there was that doubt, and it would have been awful. I would have been crushed, but we did make it there, so I'm thankful, and I feel awful for the fans that did not get to be there.
So when a bus gets pulled over, what are you thinking at this point? You probably see the flashing lights behind you.
We can't see out the back of the bus because there's all the seats there. There's the bathroom in the back. So I heard chatters of students around me that were able to see out the windows, and they're like, oh, we just passed a cop. We're going so fast. We're definitely gonna get pulled over. And then sure enough, a minute later, he starts slowing down, and we're there on the side of the road. He starts laughing about it. Just gets out. He took it like a champ, but
yeah, just incredible. But still, I mean, we talked about right before we went on the air here, that was the most impressive student showing at a Bonnie game that I've ever seen.
Thanks to the alumni too.
So JP, talking about next year's Bonnie schedule, obviously we don't know the entire non-conference schedule, but we do know some of the teams.
Yeah, and this time of year now, it almost even becomes busier than kind of the season itself, and certainly no more than this off season. I think this is really going to be one of the most kind of anticipated, interesting off seasons we've had under Schmidt. The 5 seniors, are they staying? Are they going? If the majority of them do leave, what is that going to mean in terms of who Coach Schmidt is going to bring in? Has the potential to be a very busy recruiting time frame, where we're going to see an entirely new lineup in place going into next year. And then from the schedule standpoint, people really are interested to see how that stuff kind of plays out. We do know the marquee matchup came right before that postseason run, was this announcement on the Gotham Classic, the showcase game against Notre Dame. I know a lot of Western New York people who are Notre Dame football, the whole Catholic versus Catholic thing. That'll be interested, certainly in that matchup around Thanksgiving again.
And then, of course, St. Louis is going to get healthy next year with Perkins coming back after his ACL tear, announcing that he's going to make a return next season for St. Louis. And then Loyola Chicago, they're going to be entering the A-10 next year.
Again, maybe one of the most anticipated, now seasons, coming up with I think it's going to be kind of another transitional year. You've got a superstar player in Javonte Perkins coming back. You've got a Loyola Chicago coming into the league. Some of these coaching hires have been very interesting. Archie Miller had that Dayton team. They were amazing when he was there. Now he's at Rhode Island. How long is it going to take him to get maybe Rhode Island back to the top? And I do think it's going to be a when more than an if type of thing. George Mason had started to get it turned around. GW just hired a new coach. Bana, the uncertainty with what the starters are going to be, there's really so many question marks going into this year that it is going to be very interesting to see how it plays out.
For sure. I think Loyola Chicago is definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with. There's a lot of buzz around campus that I've heard, and people are kind of doubting the Bonnies, knowing if they're going to be able to stay up to par with teams like Davidson, Dayton, and now Loyola Chicago. So I'm really hoping the Bonnies can prove themselves and stay up to par with them.
Yeah. And UMass makes the Frank Martin hire. He took a team to the Final Four 5 years ago. He's had some interesting interactions with Bonner fans already on social media. Legit coaches. The A-10 is starting to become a league where some high major coaches who are maybe sort of in their second run of things are going to the A-10. Archie Miller, Frank Martin. It's going to be exciting to see what these programs can sort of do now as a result of that.
Coming up, we show the funniest and rarest moments from behind the scenes here at BBN. And our crew gives their final thoughts on the season of BBN and of the Bonnies season. You don't want to miss it. This is BBN, the final episode of the season.
After you joined our family, it was like, I really do feel complete now.
I don't remember how it started. Our back and forth. Victory. Fumble. Repeat. It always came back.
Okay, here we go, throw it! Yeah.
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Nice.
Jason, let's go see your room.
That's not right. How was it? Is it good?
Hello, BBN family. So back when myself, Chris and Ryan were planning the show and making crucial decisions for how this show was going to look so many months ago, none of us had expected that it would look like this, or that it would grow into the true family that it did. So thank you very much to everybody who's watched every episode and followed every episode, everyone who's commented on how good JP has looked. Thank you to all of you for making this a fantastic season, and we can't wait to come back to you for our next basketball season.
Welcome back to BBN, 22 episodes in now. Now, we're not perfect. We've made our mistakes. We've had our fun on this show. Take a look at some of our favorites from this season. What's JP's story time?
JP chimed in. All right.
That's how I was just like,
I'm not.
Oh, your face lit up.
You got more.
Your face.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'm good. Okay.
Okay. No hurt. Hey, no hurt.
We definitely don't need to see it on Instagram. That's for sure.
And yeah, stop posting everything to Instagram. You look like a middle school girl. All right, I got it out. Oh, your Facebook, don't even get me started. The snowman. It's gonna be chilly. Brr.
this is a mess.
Like the Bonnie 78-53 tonight.
JP?
Hello, Bonnie Nation, and welcome into Bounties basketball. Now, I said the bad Bonnies. Yeah, no, we're not going to let that happen this time. I know, we're not letting that happen this time. Bonnies could be without both Jalen Attaway and Kyle Lofton, players listed as game time decisions tomorrow. Tonight. Why did I even say that?
Am I reading this again?
Do to get this victory against St. Louis. Well, the IFB was falling out, and well, now we have the issue of the free-flying IFB 30 inches to my right. Well, guys, Mickey here. Look at this ear.
9 seconds.
Camera 3?
Yes.
Camera 1. All right, let's do it.
Let's run it.
do it.
Yeah.
5.
Really?
He's a wild one. He says some things that are okay.
What time on the clock?
It'll be okay.
JP, step into frame a little more. Tomorrow.
I said today.
I didn't remember that.
I feel like I would not know today.
Don't get to redo, so you gotta just swallow it.
What are you doing? You know, for someone that wants to be done, you're just taking a lot of time. Wow, I didn't know what to do. I was just
Remember to look at camera 3 too.
Yeah.
Camera 3, yeah.
Welcome back to BBN. The Bonner women hosted Clarion Sunday.
Fix this thing. 15 for you.
For some final thoughts. Ryan, what do the Bonnies need to do to be
This is unbelievable. What's going on? It was okay. It was okay. It was good enough. It was good enough. Well, guys, JP, I think I will start with you. What are some of your favorite moments so far from this season that we were able to do?
So my thing's more of an overarching thing. This year, when you look back on it, was really so crazy. I mean, everything that took place this year, from starting the season so well, winning Charleston. We woke up one day, they were number 16 in the country, to the injuries and the long COVID pause and some of the ups and downs to then making this NIT run. And for me, it was the fact that we were able to capture the entire thing on this show the first time. So the fact that the first year we really do this in full 22 episodes, like you said, the way we did, and to be able to capture everything that happened this year has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, and Anthony, you've been on one of these shows, plenty of times so far this season. So what are some of your favorite moments?
That's right, Ryan. It sounds cliche, but I'm glad that this show took us to a lot of different places. We went a couple buildings down to the Riley Center, did our first live show there. We went to the Garden last week, and I know a lot of us were there and got to share that experience. But just a lot of us going to the road games, traveling for whether it was covering the game for ESPN Plus for the women's games or doing anything else like that. It was really cool to really be back in the gyms and in the environments of college basketball.
And let me thank you guys, because I'll tell you what, everybody here knows that I can get pretty long-winded with things. I have to be told all the time to wrap it up. And the fact that you guys would give me the outlet to do that with JP's story time, it's one of my biggest Achilles heels.
We love the story times.
But the fact that I was able to incorporate that into it is much appreciated.
Never a moment, as no story times, they like to say, it helps people fall asleep. But not you, JP. You
No.
keep us on our toes. You never know what's going to come next.
And this is the reputation that goes well beyond this studio, just not really being able to get to the point. So thank you for allowing the platform to be able to do that.
No, of course, we've definitely enjoyed it. Of course, Mecca, Madison Square Garden, doing that live show live, of course. And then, just the countless mess-ups that we've been doing throughout the entire course of the year. Most of them myself, I made a lot of mistakes, but you guys have been very patient with me. So, of course, the viewers at home, you don't get to see all those mistakes unless you obviously just saw it right now. But we're getting better, Season's going. Next year's going to be even better than the first. So we thank you for being along for the ride.
Coming up, our crew shares their thoughts on the end of the basketball season, and later, our favorite moments from the show. This is BBN, the final episode of the season.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right, because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign, not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to BBN, everybody. Special treat for you. We got the, I don't want to say Iron 4 2.0 right now. We got the JP Butler, of course, and our two best reporters for SBU-TV right here. So I think we'll just go along the line. JP, we'll start with you. Your best moments from the show that we've been able to have so far this season.
So first of all of us do average 39.8 minutes a night. We never leave the floor, just like the actual team does. But I mean, just being a part of it, being here with you guys, welcoming me into your guys' class and show and everything has been awesome. We've done everything. We got to do the graphic stuff at the beginning of the year where we were going over the plays on the monitor. And again, just to be able to associate such a wild, up and down, weird season that went longer than any Bonus season has ever gone before, all the way until March 29th, and to be able to cap it with that live show courtside at MSG and to be here with you guys tonight. That's awesome.
I agree. I think the this whole season, honestly, has been great. It's been a really fun experience, I know, for all of us, and I know that it's helped me especially to just like pay more attention in detail to the games going on and like knowing how I'm going to relate it to the show that's going on. And my favorite part, I think, was the live show we did from the Riley Center, just because I didn't get to go live at MSG. I mean, I was there, which was incredible, but being live from the Riley Center was the first time we really kind of tried to do that, and just being there with you guys made it all the more surreal and fun for me.
Yeah, and just a real quick point again, being able to be back in the Riley Center and back in the gyms after a year last year when we saw one of the best teams in recent Bonnie's memory play without any fans. It was good to be back in the gym and see these guys in person and finish out their career as Bonnies.
Yeah, obviously, if this is the final time we see these 5 guys play in a Bonaventure uniform, it was a great run, making it to the NIT semifinal, MSG. We got to do the live show from there, beating those power conference teams that they did all throughout the year. Charleston Classic, that was electric. Buzzer beater against Buffalo, that was electric. You know, just one singular play. We'll just go down the line quick. Your favorite play or moment from the Bonnie season this year. Go, JP.
Oh boy, on the spot. Favorite play? I mean, again, I'll bring up the Dom Welch 3 with 5 minutes left to make it 65-60 the other night. I immediately looked over at the crowd when that happened. You had the two sides of really alumni bridged by the entire student body in the end zone. I immediately looked over to the crowd to just get a sense of what that moment was. That was really probably as loud as it's been. And again, I thought in that moment they're gonna come all the way back and do that, but just fell a little bit short. But that was amazing.
For me, it has to be the Jalen Attaway game winner over UB. I think I was in the student section for that game, and first of all, that section was packed. You look across the court, and that section's packed. Just the amount of people that were there in attendance, and then for him to end the game like that was insane for all the students. And then there was like a couple seconds left, I think, on the clock still, so we had to wait in the student section still to be able to like rush the court, and just those couple seconds left on the clock still were so, like, I was on the edge of my seat just waiting to go rush out there with everyone else. It was so exciting.
Yeah, I think my favorite moment was kind of maybe one that gets forgotten in the shuffle of such a long season was when VCU came here to play the Bonnies. The Bonnies beat them by 20, and then Shun volleyball spiked that block into the stands. Yes. Again, I said on the show the week after that I thought they were playing volleyball for a second. I had to do a double take, but I think that play really highlights, we talked about Shun with his blocks records and all these other guys getting 1,000 points and all these other awards and really just leaving their legacy this year. And I thought that really meant a lot and was a really big thing this season.
I just kind of group together all the road trips. I was able to cover the Bonnies men's basketball team from so many different places: Virginia, Charleston, Charlotte when they played Virginia Tech. Obviously not the result that they would have wanted in that game, but New Jersey when they played UConn. Of course, Madison Square Garden in the Mecca. It was a great experience. I'll touch on what you said, Leah, before when you were the student section at UB.
Chills.
I was courtside holding a camera, so I couldn't really celebrate. I was staying still, and when the shot had to go up, I was just like, in my mind, I was screaming, but had to stay cool, calm, and collected. Did a great job. Had to immediately get it on social media so I could be the first to do that. And it was a fun year all around. It's sad that it has to end, but after last night's NCAA tournament championship game, everybody's done playing now. So. Yeah.
Next order of business, I'm going to campaign to make this a year-round show. We'll see how far I get with it.
While he campaigns for that, we'll take a quick break, but coming up next, a hand-picked selection of our top moments from BBN this year.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to BBN. Let's just get right into it. Here are our best moments, handpicked by our staff of BBN this year.
Let's transition into what some of the Bonnie's basketball players want on their Christmas list this year. Starting with Mr. Kyle Lofton, and I think the obvious thing to say is he wants good health. He wants that ankle to heal, wants health to remain for the rest of the season, but also he wants his teammates to step up around him. He wants to continue to be a leader. I don't think there's many problems when it comes to Kyle Lofton.
As for Oshun, I think he just wants to continue to get stronger, get tougher, because he's going to face tougher competition as we get into A10 play. And I know Saturday he avoids Sonogu for UConn, but what Oshun's always had trouble with is foul trouble.
All right, JP, that was a pretty funny moment from our staff there.
Yeah, it just kind of illustrated that it wasn't all business, once the camera was on and we were diving into everything. We had a lot of fun moments as well, and people found different ways to provide some laughs while we were here, because, we're here for a couple of hours every time we do this. And it came at a time where we kind of needed that. Remember, we had 4 straight shows where there was no game to talk about during that 25-day COVID pause, and so to have some kind of comedic break from things was nice.
It was very nice. Here is moment number 2 from our staff.
St. Joseph's, they have one of the most famous mascots in the entire country, and that's the Hawk. And JP, you have a story about the Hawk when it came into the Riley Center back when you covered the team. What's that story? That was a pretty good story.
So we're going to do story time here on BBN here. Okay, so this was back in the day, early 2000s. We all know that the Hawk's thing pregame is to run the figure eights around the floor as St. Joe's is coming out. He does that. Somebody from the student section, now it's getting a little hazy at this point, but somebody from the student section came out and ran into him or bumped him or confronted him in some way, and I think actually knocked this person over. It turns out this student who was the mascot, their father was present, saw this go down, left his seat, went down and confronted the kid. They got into it, security had to get involved. It was a whole thing right before tip-off in that game. So certainly the Hawk is a mascot that Bonnet fans have had a love-hate relationship with over the years.
I think it's only right, since the Hawk has to flap his wings throughout the entire duration of the game, I have to do it for this segment. Obviously, when I called the women's basketball game, the Hawk, this guy just did not stop. It was actually a girl. Her name was in the program, but just did not stop, and it was really impressive. They definitely deserved every penny of that scholarship, but I'm getting a little tired right now, so let's just get right into moment number 3 by our staff.
How'd you know you wanted to come here?
It played a big part that my mom and my family was so close. As they're getting older, you want to cherish those moments, like the ability for them to see me play and the last years, and see me graduate. That's all they've ever wanted me to do is graduate from college. So,
will they come to every game, or?
My mom hasn't missed a game.
And Leah, of course, you and Jaron had to do that amazing, I think it was a 5-camera shoot interview. First time we've ever been able to do something like that. You did a great job with that.
Yeah, so I went into it kind of being a little nervous. I'd never done anything like that before. It was a really great experience to be able to talk to Jaron, and he made it so easy for me. Honestly, helped settle my nerves so much. And I think I ended up, it was probably like a 20-minute conversation. I went in, expecting it to be like 10 minutes max, but he just was so interesting to talk to and so engaging, and it was just a really great memory that I'll be able to cherish forever.
Jaron, if you've been watching any of the ESPN games so far this season, they mention his name with SBU-TV all the time, so we are very grateful that he was a part of SBU-TV, and we're looking forward to what he does in the future, maybe even playing next season. We don't know yet. We'll see. Here is our final moment from BB. That second to last final moment, moment number 4. Here it is.
Been for 12 years. I should do something. I should at least know something. Yeah, let me get a couple more pumps in.
Thank you, Matthew McConaughey.
All right, Anthony. Louis, he was doing that every time he hosted. What were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, just a quick shout out to Louis Genovese. He's been on the desk before, and he's done a lot of great work for this show and has been an integral part of what we do on the desk, what we do on social. So a quick shout out to him. He always provided a laugh for us on the desk and in the production, post-production. So a quick shout out to Louis, and we're very thankful for all of his efforts.
I don't know about you guys. That got me pumped up this
It
time
did.
before the show. I was getting going, blood pressure rising. I was ready to run through a wall.
Not even ready to do a show, to go play for the Bonnies, right? I mean, no show. Let's go put a uniform on and go sit on the bench.
JP was mentioning those 39 minutes. JP was mentioning those 39 minutes a game. I think we were getting ready to do just that, but as with bench and all that stuff. Here's our final moment that was handpicked by our staff for BBN. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a live episode of BBN here at Madison Square Garden. That's the vet, JP Butler. JP, it's good to be here.
I'll tell you what, it's exciting. It's my first ever trip to Madison Square Garden. You can feel the excitement. And look, I'll say this. It's not the NCAA tournament. But if I were to tell you that Bono was still going to be playing basketball on March 29th, that they're going to be playing for a national championship, that they're going to be playing at MSG, I think a lot of people would have taken that. I think there's something to be said for that. And here we are tonight.
And of course, I'm with SBU-TV sports reporter Anthony Goss here as well. Anthony, how you feeling, man?
It feels great to be at the Mecca, the ultimate place to play a college basketball game, any basketball game for that matter. And we went live earlier this year in the Riley Center and said there was a quiet energy there. This is just a little bit different. Madison Square Garden, this is the big leagues. I'm excited the Bonnies are playing here tonight.
And then, of course, our final moment, a great one, Madison Square Garden, the mecca of basketball in the entire world. We got to do a live show courtside. Even the players were coming out, and JP, you almost got hit by a ball. I don't even know if you know this yet. I was very visibly watching it. It almost hit you. I gave a look to the camera. Our viewers at home more than likely saw you almost have a on-air death.
See, now this is news to me. I did not see this. I was so locked into what we were doing because it was such an amazing experience. Again, I know it ended in a loss. But for us, from a professional standpoint, to be able to do what we did, where we're just being invited onto the floor to do our post game, everybody's sort of working around what we're doing, and for the players, I said before, I think there's something to be said for the fact that they got to end their careers at MSG, even though it wasn't a win.
Yeah, and Anthony, of course, you got to be live at the show. What were you thinking out there at the Mecca, Madison Square Garden?
Yeah, there's something that just comes over to you when you walk through the tunnel and you're out on the court and you see all the banners of former Knicks greats, and it's an indescribable feeling. Quick mention, JP, that might be a great story time in the future as the pregame show is over. I just want to put a pin in that real quick. But again, just back to Madison Square Garden, it was a really great experience. And like JP said, I think there was it wasn't the ending we wanted, but it was a good place to end the season at the mecca of college basketball, at basketball in general.
And of course, shout out to Jeff Williams and our own Mike Spahn for being able to set up and be courtside at Madison Square Garden. I know most of us got to be courtside covering the game too at one point in the game. It was just an amazing experience, something I know neither of us will ever forget. Quickly, we are going to quickly ask JP. JP, what do you think, there was a lot of them now, what was your favorite story that you gave this year?
Oh, boy. I mean, speaking of the Hawk, I told the story of how the Hawk was pushed by a Bonner student, and the girl's dad happened to be at the game and went and confronted the student afterward, face to face. That was probably up there. The UMass story of Marcus Camby, eventual NBA number 2 draft pick, passing out at the Riley Center. And again, just to always have the platform to be able to go on and on and on about these things, which leads me to, there's a rumor, Ryan, that you might do a post-grad year at St. Joe's where you're looking to become the next Hawk mascot. Is there any truth to that?
The rumors have been swirling. There's two things that are swirling around college basketball right now, and it's if the Ironman 5 2.0 are coming back, and if Ryan's going to take a grad year to be the St. Joe's Hawk.
Be the Hawk.
It's up in the air right now. I just want to focus on what's ahead for me right now, and I will address those concerns when the time comes.
So would you be on a tear, though, if you did that?
I'd be on a tear, obviously, Leah. Anthony, I'll quickly ask you. There's a lot of stories. I know I have a favorite too, but what do you think your favorite story was?
There's so many to choose from, but one that I was, in a weird way, waiting for was a story about Marcus Camby having to leave the game to go to the hospital, and Coach Calipari was at the Riley Center. I don't wish anything bad on Marcus Camby or anything like that, but the fact that Coach John Calipari played a game at the Riley Center seems out of this world to me, and I thought that was really cool to relive that moment. And then just in general, all the past moments of Bona's lore that JP brought us back to, I think it was a really cool treat every time we did this show.
A lot of great stories, JP. I remember the first time we implemented it, you were really excited. You always seem to mention, oh, we just, talked about this before, and here we're going to go. And I loved it all. Anyways, that was a great show, guys. Our final one until we kind of talk about the off-season that's going to be ahead. It was great doing the show with you. Of course, we had the vet, JP Butler of Violi and Times-Herald, SBU-TV sports reporters Leah Lockwood and Anthony Goss. I'm Ryan Bolin saying so long for now. We'll see you next year. It's been a great show. BBN, Bonnie's Basketball Now. Thanks for being with us.